Brand building remains a crucial and often misunderstood topic, especially in our age of digital. And today we're speaking with somebody who is uniquely qualified to talk about this topic. I'm Michael Krigsman. I'm an industry analyst and the host of CXOTalk. And I want to introduce Carla Hendra, who is the chief executive of Ogilvy Consulting. Now, I need to say a huge heartfelt thanks to IPsoft. We are in their AI Experience Lab in New York City, and IPsoft is making CXOTalk possible. And before we go on, tell your friends, tell everybody you know to watch this show, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Carla, welcome to CXOTalk.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here today. Maybe I'll start by talking a little bit about Ogilvy. We're in our 70th year, founded by David Ogilvy in 1948, and known really as, until now, as an ad agency. So one of the new things that we've done this year is to refound the company and the group under just the name Ogilvy as a creative network, a global creative network. And our mission in life, the reason we exist, is to make brands matter for mostly global Fortune 500 companies around the world, but also many, many local businesses.
So this is a much broader mandate than the historical advertising on which the company was founded.
Well, yeah, I mean, the truth is the company was founded as a Mad Men era ad agency, but over the years, we developed many, many individual capabilities and put them in business units. So we had the Ogilvy One group, which was CRM and digital. We had Ogilvy PR, focused on PR. We had Ogilvy and Mather as the ad agency, and many others. And so what's happened is that clients in today's very complex world, and with the impact of digital, we took a step back and said, this is too complicated. That we don't want clients to have to come through so many doors to get the solutions that we can bring them and to help make their brands matter. So we, on June 5th, announced that the whole company would be under the Ogilvy banner and actually have a new logo design and all of that, being the brand people that we are. And one part of it that we have kept as a unique enterprise offering is Ogilvy Consulting. And that is only about 6-7 years old. I founded it, and we did that because clients are asking business questions well above the typical communications or even experience and design challenges we look at. They're asking for help on things like new business models, growth strategies, and certainly digital transformation. And so that's what the consulting group works on.
And you're also the chief digital officer.
Right, for the group. And you know, my whole history at Ogilvy has been from digital. I joined originally on the IBM business with the original team that kind of helped IBM transform itself under Lou Gerstner. We introduced digital to them and really built our entire global digital network on the back of that. I then ran our CRM and digital agency in the US, and then was co-CEO of North America before founding the consultancy. And you know, everything that we're doing today in modern marketing, everything we do with brands is all about reconciling with this resolutely digital world that we're in. I mean, I've been working in it for 25 years, since 1993, when the internet stopped being just a little sort of government scientific tool that special people knew about and became a broad-scale consumer and business tool.
Carla, as you speak with your clients, what are the challenges that they face regarding brand building in this digital era?
Well, you know, what's interesting is that brands are the same thing that they've always been. They are the sum total of the interactions and the relationship between a product or a service or an experience and the consumer or the customer. And we're experts at trying to make sure that that is developed and put out in the world as something that creates emotional connections. Because even with all of the digital and technology and data that has emerged, people are still people. They make most of their decisions emotionally. And if you, in this very complicated world with more fragmentation, more choices, more products and services than ever before, if you don't have something that is almost an emotional shorthand, and that's really what a brand is, to help people think through how they want to live their lives, then it becomes a very messy kind of undifferentiated situation for companies. And so what we work on is the modern marketing brand. And that means for us, how do we take this really complex world that has a long-term set of goals around business building and ambition, a medium-term or quarterly sales results, and then an everyday brand protection and brand building sort of pulse in the modern world. And you have to be able to work across all those time horizons through every type of marketing and media channel and every touch point. And that has become, for clients, such a different challenge that we've developed our own system for helping global clients, people who, companies that have many, many products and services to offer, and we help them really systematize how they make their brand stand out, but in a consistent way, whether we're talking about a brand platform that we're going to express through anything from an event to a TV spot, or a program that's designed to build loyalty and generate more sales in the quarter, or something that we do on a given day when a brand has either a positive that they want to capitalize on, or perhaps a negative that they need to really address.
Let's talk about that emotional component as the foundation of a brand, and then we can talk about how brands can codify it and express it in the digital era.
So, I mean, the fundamental notion of brands is that it's about making connection, making a relationship. And what David Ogilvy said is that the brand is the sum total. It's all the interactions. Now, that used to be a little bit simpler to really understand and even manage. And for many years, there was brand management, grew up in packaged goods and in similar categories. And there was a sort of way of doing things. But all of that kind of went out the window in terms of how many touch points there are, how often there's an interaction. So you're really building a brand in millions of instances and moments. And if you can't figure out a way to make that a consistent experience, and in fact, experience is an important word, because what used to be a hard product advantage or a service design is now something that people really, they experience the brand in so many different ways. So, and digital is one of the reasons for that. So it's not just online, it's not just at bricks and mortar, it's not just through B2B channels, it's all of it. And we have to have a way of understanding the DNA of the brand, and that's, again, what Ogilvy spends quite a bit of time on when we work with brands, is to say, what's your purpose? What's your role in the world, the role of the brand, and how can we take a tension that exists maybe in the culture and the brand on its best day, put those together and come up with a platform concept, and from there translate it to a creative idea.
So there's some type of personal benefit. So people need to feel a personal benefit, and is that what drives the emotional connection?
Well, we want all people, whether they're again, in a business environment or whether they're consumers, to appreciate and believe in the IBM brand. So, some of the things that we've done, again, using their platform, which is about cognitive and about machines being able to enhance life in so many ways. I mean, that's a big concept. That's not, again, just about technology. It's about making a smarter planet, making the world a better place to live. And so that's what we work on in terms of creating that emotional connection. And we could do it in really unusual ways. So a couple of years ago, we looked at the Met Ball that's in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, big fashion, celebrity, culture event. And we teamed up, the Watson team worked with a big fashion designer, Marchesa, and created, for just that night, a dress that was actually powered by Watson, and connected it on social media with what people who were watching, consumers, not just business people, but consumers watching the Met Ball on TV, and what did they feel like? And we actually let Watson codify several different emotions, and based on what the Twitter feeds were, the dress would change color in real time. And there was a very famous model who wore the dress, and it was probably got more coverage that night than any consumer electronics brand or any other brand that was there, because it was such an unbelievable thing. And as an agency, it was great to work on it, because we were taking this very high order idea with Watson and literally designing a dress with soldering on the little electrodes that would allow that to be done. So the creative people loved it, and they were able to build the brand in the moment.
We hear a lot about customer experience.
Yeah.
Where does customer experience fit into all of this?
So I think that's a concept that has really been elevated over the last few years, because we've talked about it for many, many years, but I think it's come to now mean really, what is the perception of someone in their total interaction with your brand and your company? And it's both those things. So the brand is different from the company that might be offering it, and both of those things matter. But that customer experience could be anything that happens along the way. So it could be in the physical world, it could be online, it could be on mobile, it could be through a contact center, it could be through a partner where you have much less control over how your brand is delivered. And so again, we talk to clients now about needing to have an end-to-end strategic understanding of the customer experience. It's not just the piecemeal elements of making sure your contact center and your telephones are answered a certain way, or that your email system works. It's everything. And so the enormity of it is actually what clients are really asking for help on. So understanding, where do they sit in the customer experience continuum? Where would you benchmark yourself against a whole series of what customers and consumers expect today from the experience? And then once you understand that, what are the gaps that you have, and how are you going to actually fill them?
Carla, you mentioned the enormity of the challenge of providing that end-to-end customer experience. Can you elaborate and expose for us, why is it so hard? When you talk about enormity, what are the pieces there?
Well, it's a really important question, because to be able to affect on a very personalized level and a very precise level the customer experience, but also to do that at global scale, of course, requires a lot of different technologies and a lot of systems talking to each other, and a lot of data being infused into the experience that the brand delivers to the consumer. And if you're a legacy company, and we have a lot of those as clients, you're dealing with everything from your MarTech stack and the technologies that have come along and helped you have an individual relationship with the consumer, all the data systems that support every aspect of your business, the newer things that most companies, even packaged goods, have had to now make part of their world, which is e-commerce, and all of these systems for a legacy company having to be synced up and having to really enable a great customer experience so that you delight the customer. It means connecting so many disparate parts of an enterprise, and you have to do that in language, and you have to do that on a global basis, but with, again, local relevance. So that's why it's so complicated, and it's not like you can flip a switch and it's ever done, because every day there's something new, that some new enabling technology, for instance, voice. So the way we have searched for years has been by typing. Well, we're not going to do that very much. And for all the kids who are growing up and born with very quickly getting a mobile device put in their hands, they aren't growing up learning how to type. They're possibly not even learning how to read. They're learning to make demands and to ask questions and to ask for stuff. So we have to now take everything we've done one way and figure out how does voice change that. And there's some really cool things happening in that area, but it's going to be a process.
So you've described the importance of having data and the importance of systems being able to communicate across different silos, or historically what were silos. But where does now content, the right content, fit into creating this end-to-end customer experience you were talking about?
Well, I mean, everything I was talking about was sort of the how do you enable and get ready so that you can have a relationship that is data-driven, that's all about the customer, and that really engages the customer in the way they want. And that's where the content comes in, because you have to be able to, in some ways, be programmatic about it and automate it, but you also have to be highly engaging and interesting, and that's where creativity comes in. And I think that's one of the things that we as Ogilvy really, really focus on. We call ourselves a creative network on purpose. It's not that we can't work with technology or that we don't understand data deeply and many of the important digital technologies. But if we can't bring it to life through brand content that is truly engaging and creative and based on an idea, not just on, again, if programmatic was all that mattered, we could all go home. No, there would be no industry anymore. There would just be some buttons to press and some computers, and everybody would get some ads, I guess. But it wouldn't be very interesting.
So coming back to what you were describing earlier, so then is that drive to create the emotional connection then kind of the motivating power behind what you were just describing, that creative part?
Yeah, and I think that's our role. If we want to make brands matter, and brands are about emotional connection, we have to do that through creativity. And today, creativity is as often about a visual and writing copy and creating content, but it also can be creativity in a business model, or what's the experience that customer number one and customer number 1 million wants, and how am I going to be able to deliver that in a unique way for each one and everybody in between. And so there are new kinds of creativity.
Tell us about the new kinds of creativity.
Well, I mean that's what I was really talking about is a data scientist who can figure out how they're going to help Intercontinental Hotels Group personalize either in a hotel property or in the process of experiencing the brand through reservations or planning or whatever. If they can figure out how to personalize that, then that data scientist is a hugely creative person. They also have to help the creative teams understand what kind of messages and content and engagement devices to use. And so, for instance, there's a new role in the agency called creative technologist. That's somebody who sits in the creative department, but they have a technology background, and they're able to help the pure creative people link up to the tech people and understand, well, what's made possible by the Adobe Marketing Suite, or what's made possible by Salesforce.com, or what's made possible by any number of other new technologies that really change the way brands can talk to and engage with customers.
So at Ogilvy, you have reinvented yourself in a way very similar to what your clients have to do.
Absolutely. I mean, on June 5th of this year, it's our 70th anniversary in September, but on June 5th, when we came out as Ogilvy, rebranded and refounded, it was, yes, on the principles of David Ogilvy, but really interpreted for the modern marketing world. And that is a transformation, and we've been working on it for about 2.5 years. It's the kind of thing that I don't think will ever be done. But it was about really putting a stake in the ground for the future and to say, we're always going to be about brands and making brands matter, but we need to do that in a way that uses every aspect of technology, of data, of the things that can infuse creativity.
So the foundations of brand have not changed, but the expression has to evolve based on technology changing consumer expectations and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I was talking about before. When a brand is an experience, as much as it is the actual product or service, and when we have to be able to personalize that on a global scale, that just is a whole new set of challenges. And at the same time, making sure a brand has a heart and the DNA and the emotional connection, that has not changed.
Carla, you're Chief Digital Officer. What is that role and where does that fit into Ogilvy?
So we have, as I said, about 10,000 people that are in some way contributing to digital work that we create for clients and that we deliver. And that's a big global community. We have our own digital transformation agenda, and my mandate and role is to drive that agenda and to do that through our operating structure, which means there's someone in charge of digital for each of the key regions. There are people who are in charge of certain service elements. So we have a marketing technology center of excellence, which is largely based offshore in Asia. But that is one of the delivery mechanisms that we needed to develop as part of our transformation. So, I'm responsible for pushing all aspects of digital growth and helping our clients understand where they need to go, but also helping us to deliver on this pretty aggressive agenda, which is something that changes constantly. And where, because of the breadth of our network, we have to have someone who sort of holds the reins and says, we're going to do these things, we're not going to do those things. So for instance, we've been in digital since before there was an internet. I mean, we've always been a technology-oriented company. But today, some of the areas that we have to innovate in are artificial intelligence, AI, or the blockchain, or AR and VR, because those things are letting us create in completely different ways. So part of my role is to make sure we have the people who can do that, the talent, and the leadership to get it done.
And you need to be ahead of your clients, of course.
Yes, and that our clients are pretty smart, and they're doing a lot of very interesting things. They also, many of them have chief digital officers. So, one of the things that's changed in the industry is that when we were more focused on communications alone, whereas now we really talk about being in the communications, the design, and the experience business, the chief marketing officer was our client. Today, we might be dealing with the CIO, the chief information officer, or the CDO, or we might be dealing with the chief technology officer, or we might be dealing with, any number of other doors that you walk through to help clients, because they're changing their organizations, and marketing has become something that's very linked to sales, and so even the chief marketing officer has a much broader requirement and mandate today. They're working on customer experience as much as they're working on any sort of formal communications programs.
Okay, Carla Hendra, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Michael, very much.
We've been speaking with Carla Hendra from Ogilvy. What a fascinating conversation it has been. Again, I want to say a thank you to IPsoft for making CXOTalk possible. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great day.